Okay, I'm making this video because Kunal from Black Man Travel, he is signing off. He won't be doing a lot of content creation because he recently had a baby a couple months ago and he's getting married and he has a new job. He's going to be in the office, so he has a lot on his plate. First, I wish him well on his new life. But never knew he was a 10-year digital nomad, which is quite fascinating. He does have a website, which I'm going to be looking at quite often, just to kind of get some ideas because I'm working on a project, and I think looking at some of his notes will kind of give me some inspiration. But I want to take his video that he did, splice it up, and talk about a few points that he has because I want to follow it up by adding some context to it, my personal context, because there's some issues in this travel space that really needs to be addressed. Probably not going to hit all his points because it's probably going to be long and I don't want to make this a long video. So let's just get into it.
So as I said before, just traveling has granted me a lot of great opportunities to really get to know who I am as a man, um, my likes and dislikes in people, what I'm willing to tolerate, but also what I'm willing to learn. And I think it's important that as you start your traveling growth, when you start expanding your options beyond the typical tourist spots, you start growing as an individual. You start realizing that hey, I don't need to think and move just like these other guys. I can do it my way.
You know, he's absolutely right because when I lived in Israel for 3 years when I went to school, there were some things, I had to tolerate and accept, and there were some things, I didn't like, and it made me grow. But I was already matured and all that other stuff, so it was just more and more stuff that kept me to be able to tolerate things. And in this process, a lot of people gave me a lot of respect. I didn't per se fly out the handle and stuff, and I didn't realize that there were so many people that actually loved me, even though I didn't really see it in the way that we normally see it in the United States. But I got a lot of love from people, and that happened with an incident with someone else, and I ended up getting in the middle of it, and I had to explain myself and say, hey, I was just asked to come pick something up, and the lady explained, she said, no, Corey, don't worry about it, we love you, don't worry about it, we actually love you, but it was just a situation that I got dragged into it, and they were mad at the other person. They were just venting, basically. But to hear that come out their mouth, you know, it was just comforting. And I never knew that they had that type of affection for me. So you never know when you get outside, the United States and you're by yourself, how people will react to you.
Live your best life. And we live in an age now where people want to put you into a category. Guys, I've been traveling way before this quote unquote passport bros, before there was a title, a hashtag, or whatever. And now you're instantly put into a bucket. Like, if you don't do this, you're that. But before COVID, we were doing this before there was a title. And it's kind of sad that, and it seems like black people, we do that a lot to each other. We have to put ourselves into a category. If you look at other non-blacks travelers, they don't put themselves into a category. They're just travelers. But within the black space, you are a bona fide this or you're bona fide that. You can't just be a traveler. Like, I can't have my own personal reasons why I travel.
To answer that, Kanal, there's a lot of mistrust within our community. Just to give you a quick story, there was a guy, black guy, who went to the post office and he was trying to get his passport. He was trying to track his passport, and the black female postal worker was giving him a hard time, her co-workers, and just because they thought he was a passport bro. And turned out the guy worked for Homeland Security, and he was tracking his passport because he had to go overseas for a job. And this is the thing right now. This wouldn't be an issue if there was loyalty and commitment within our community instead of this childish behavior. And unfortunately, because of this, and because this movement is so strong, you're seeing a lot of black men just saying, the heck with this, I'm out of here, because the relationship within our community has crumbled. That's just the way it is. Because you tell me the logic of women finding criminals more masculine. Someone told me something that's really interesting. You find Booty the Booty Warrior more masculine than someone from SEAL Team 6. Make sense of that. It just doesn't add up. And then when you're talking about the passport bros, a lot of us are ex-military. Even myself. Just look at the shirt I'm wearing. It has my name on it. It has my rank. My rank, my name, all this stuff. This is a specially designed shirt where I had to put in my rank, my unit, and all this other stuff. So we got a lot of military guys in this passport bro movement that are smart and they're educated. But what do you think? I'm supposed to be smart, educated, make money, and I'm supposed to take care of someone who's gonna cheat on me and stuff like that? Yeah, we're gonna end up in that category because of it's a domino effect. What's going on in our community is putting us in a box. And unfortunately, we're not going to be considered travelers. Just like the gentleman, Eric Garvin, who was shot and killed in Chile. He wasn't a passport bro, but they labeled him as a passport bro because he was a black guy. And all he was a photographer who was taking pictures. And unfortunately, he was in a bad neighborhood, and we saw the results of that. God rest his soul and God blessing on his family.
And now, if you look at the optics with these groups today, I don't see anything positive coming out of it. It's just like now there's sides fighting with each other. They want to meet up and box, fight on the beach. Like, the whole point of you traveling was to escape the matrix. But now you're bringing the matrix with you on the flight, on the airport, in these countries. You're bringing that same toxic mentality with you into these countries and blame it and continue to blame that's the matrix fault. You go to these countries, you bring these same bullshit games that you do in the United States to these countries, then complain about it.
Kanal, what's embarrassing is that, these guys sitting around here, well, actually guys and girls are sitting around here saying all this stuff, making threats, acting like fools on social media, and this stuff is being pushed globally. And not realizing that it's our image as, a black community that is in jeopardy. And, we're getting viewed negatively. We're taking all this stuff from the Matrix, we're putting it out there in the world to see, and then bringing it to these countries. That's why I tell people, leave America in America, because, a lot of the stuff that we say and that we're doing is offensive to these other cultures and stuff. And we look bad, and that's all it is no other race is doing this. We're arguing about what the choices of someone else is doing in their life. That it's stupid. We're free, and now we got dudes that want to play bully against something that shows their stupidity, that because they misjudge passport bros. Because to tell you the truth, Kanal, passport bros are dangerous because most of them are ex-military. They've been trained by this government to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to kill. And these dudes want to play with killers, government killers. That's the best thing I can say. And some of them got undiagnosed PTSD. Dudes with skill sets, man. Very dangerous skill sets at that. If you want to go back and be real about stuff, Go back to when they had the DC sniper thing. That dude wasn't a trained sniper. He learned how to be a sniper, but he was in the military and in those environments to know that stuff. But these people want to sit around and fuck around and find out. Well, you know what? Let them. That's their funeral.
But I remember meeting with some of these veterans, in these countries. Met them in Colombia, met them in Brazil, met them in DR, met them in Costa Rica. Again, this is 2014, 2015. I sat down with these men, I brought them drinks, I brought them dinner, and they gave me the game. They gave me everything, and I ran with it. But it seems like now I become the OG. I become the elder. And sharing that information is not as well receptive because people are in their feelings, because you don't say certain things in a certain way. The OGs back then, man, if we were fucking up, they'll tell us that we're fucking up. But this generation of travelers, man, they just want to do their own thing. And now this whole clout thing, the subscribers and views and cash apps and, super chats is the new wave. So my thing to you guys is be careful in the type of information that you're requesting. A lot of people out there don't really have your best interest.
Kanal, I don't know where it's coming from, and I'm just going to speak on this. I lived in Israel for 3 years, and I dealt with terrorism for those 3 years, dealing with Hamas, rocket attacks, to walking in Jerusalem, praying that I don't get stabbed up, kidnapped, blown up, shot up. And we're talking the old city of Jerusalem, where Jesus walked to his crucifixion. You'd be surprised what goes on in the old city. That's why there's so many cops down there. Not just for tourism, a lot of cops, because Damascus Gate is right across from the West Bank. And ish happens over there. So, you youngins that want to sit around here talking about the OGs are jealous because, y'all know how to travel. Teach me about traveling in a terrorist country. Teach me how to avoid that. I'll look at you and laugh. And I'm not talking about you dudes that served in the army that got deployed. I'm talking, I was a civilian, living as a civilian in a terrorist country, not being deployed or any of that stuff. No, we're going to remove the deployment portion because you were in a gated base. I know because I got deployed to Iraq. We're not talking about that situation. We're talking walking around as a civilian. So I want someone to teach me that. Because I literally had to teach myself and also learn from former and current IDF soldiers, former Shin Bet operatives, former Mossad operatives, and others to teach me how to be safe in Israel.
And if you're not willing to take the time to better yourself, you're not taking the time to understand the culture, learn the language, and understanding the entire optics and being overseas, being comfortable with who you are as a man, you're not ready for a relationship overseas. These folks, these people in these countries will run circles around you. And trust me, they can see and smell that thirst from a mile away. Just keep that in mind.
I don't get it, with these people, because if you're constantly going back to a Spanish speaking country, you should know Spanish and to the level of fluency. And with all these apps that we have, you can't spend 30 minutes to an hour a day when you're back home to learn Spanish and be fluent. And with everybody's coming from a major city, so you got Spanish friends. You can't get one of them to teach you Spanish and work with you on your Spanish so you can come back and go over there, you can speak it. It's just weird to me. But those are the people who don't care about the country. And this is your survival mechanism. That's the thing. This is your survival mechanism because you don't know when someone's trying to scam you or do some harm to you. And you constantly go into places where they're dangerous, like Colombia. How many people constantly going back and forth to Colombia not knowing Spanish? They want to continue going back to that place and they can't speak it. Or going down to Dominican Republic. It's just like, are you for real? So that's just a situational awareness liability to them. It's these people shouldn't be traveling if you're not going to at least learn the language. I did that when I was in Israel. I learned a little bit of Hebrew and a little bit of Arabic, mostly Arabic. But these people just don't get it.
And this whole thing about, people comparing, oh, I go to Europe versus you go to a third world country. What's the difference?
Canal, I'm let me just give out this definition. Corporate Finance Institute defines third world countries to have three elements: high rate of poverty, economic and or political instability, high mortality rate. I don't know why people still consider Latin American countries to be third world countries when they're not. Because none of these elements exist, and all three have to exist. Now, it's funny how you got some American black women are going to Africa and getting rammed up by these African dudes who are living in those type of countries. But here's the thing. Let's take Brazil, for example. Brazil has been in and out of the top 10 richest country by GDP list. In and out of that list. Usually been like number 8, number 10 for over a decade. What is their major import? The major export? I give you a hint. We drink it every morning. Coffee. Everybody in the world drinks coffee. So why are they considered a poor country? Maybe there's some issues with their distribution of wealth, just like the United States, because they got economic issues and there's people sleeping out in the streets because everything is priced up and we're seeing poverty, but we're going to ignore that, but we're going to crap on everybody else. And they're doing that because they're getting our most successful, educated, financially endeavored men. That's what they're getting. And these people are shaming these countries and these women because they don't know how to keep good men. In closing, Kunal, good luck. You'll do well. I think you got your head on straight. Just keep focused and you'll find what you're looking for in life. As far as your video, you were spot on a lot of things. It's just when I go overseas, I look for peace. I don't want to deal with BS. I try to uphold an image so that way that image reflects back to my community. And I did that. I think I did that well when I was in Israel. Unfortunately, they usually don't hold out a lot in certain places because you got others that do other things. So I can be responsible for just me. And when I go overseas, I'm the only one that is responsible for me. I can't vouch for other people. So I won't. So if these people want to act like a fool, they'll act like a fool by themselves, but I won't connect myself with them. I remove myself from the situation. It is a shame that people act like this. Leave America in America, and that includes all that hood rat attitude. And now if you can't remove yourself from your being of what you are in America to a foreign country, then you don't need to travel because you don't know how to grow. And and like I said, it's a damn shame. Certain people don't need to have passports, and definitely certain people don't need to have platforms, because people don't know when to shut up, don't know how to control their mouths when they're on platforms, especially when you're debating with someone. So, personally speaking, whatever happens, happens. But the threat of violence, you will get the consequences of that, however slight or heavy. With that being said, you guys have a great time. Enjoy yourself. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll check you guys out later.